Hello everybody, it's Nick here with Nick Tolman Music, and today we're going to go ahead and continue our beginner guitar lesson series using the Hal Leonard Guitar Method, Book 1. Let's get started. Alright, so we're back at it, and today we're going to take a look at page 38. On page 38, we are going to learn a new song, which is called Simple Gifts. This one's really exciting because it's a duet part with chords. So actually, you could have 3 people playing this to meet all the parts, and it's a really great arrangement of a great song. Before we get started, I will toss out a reminder to go over and check out my Patreon page. Becoming a patron of Nick Tolman Music is a wonderful way to say thank you for the content that you're receiving here on YouTube. It's also a great way to keep you accountable in meeting the goals that you have set on learning guitar. You can become a patron for as little as $3 a month, and that includes a lot of wonderful resources that will help you out on your journey of learning to play. So definitely head on over there and consider becoming a patron today. Alright, so this lesson is actually going to include page 38 and 39, as the music actually takes up both pages. This is going to become more and more common as we move further into the book. As songs get longer, we will have some lessons that take up 2 pages. But at the beginning of page 38, we have 2 exercises. These are 2 strumming patterns, and there's a note at the top that says, practice these strums before playing Simple Gifts. The concept here is that they have given you 2 example strumming patterns that you can use in this song if you're playing the chords. All right, so let's go ahead and start with exercise 89. We'll go ahead and play this at 72 on the metronome, and then we'll bump the tempo up a little bit. Probably won't go all the way to 120, just because we're going to kind of fit with what is going to work best with this song. All right, but here is 72 on the metronome, exercise 89. 1, 2, and ready and play. Alright, again, so the concept there is that this strumming pattern is going to fit with this song. Now you'll notice that that particular rhythm happens throughout the song. So if you look at the very first full measure of exercise 91, Simple Gifts, you'll notice that you have quarter, eighth, 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 eighth. And that rhythm comes back several times. So this particular strumming pattern is going to fit very well with this song. Alright? Now, as we look at exercise 90, we'll notice that we have that same strumming pattern. Bum, 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 quarter, quarter, half, note. Now, that is also alluding to specific parts in Simple Gifts. So if you look at the second measure of the 3rd line of Simple Gifts, so the very top of page 39, second measure there, we have that measure that ends with that quarter, quarter, half note. The idea here is that we're doing a strumming pattern that fits those rhythms that are being played in the music. All right, so let's go ahead and try exercise 90 at 72 on the metronome as well. 1, 2, and ready and play. And that's all there is to it. All right, so let's go ahead and bump this metronome up to a tempo that we might actually play this song at. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bump the metronome up to 104, and we're going to go ahead and play exercise 89 and 90 at that tempo. So here we go. Exercise 89. 1, 2, 1, 2, and ready, play. There we go. And let's go ahead and try exercise 90. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and ready and... And that's all there is to it. Again, these strumming patterns are designed to just help you with some ideas of what you can use in Simple Gifts when you end up playing the chords for it. So let's go ahead and take a look at Simple Gifts. We're going to go ahead and start by playing part 1. We'll talk about it, and then we'll talk about part 2. I'll play part 2 for you. We'll talk about it. Then we'll show you what they all sound like together. We'll add the chords, and we'll bump the tempo up. You'll get a good idea of the different concepts and different things that you can do with this piece of music. So here is part 1 of 91. We're going to start at 72 on the metronome, a little bit slower tempo, and give it a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And that's the idea. So really this melody is not overly challenging. It's definitely the longest piece of music that we've learned in the book so far. But all in all, there's not a lot of things that should be tripping you up at this point in the book. Let's go ahead and walk through it measure by measure. We'll just talk about any of the little subtleties that kind of come up. So starting out again, we start on beat 4. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there we go. Now at this tempo it's easy enough to play with all downstrokes. However, you may want to start experimenting with down, up, down, up. And that particular 8th note run might give you a little bit of challenge with that down, up, just because of the way the notes lie. So I would definitely just spend some time looping that. As many times as you need to just have that kind of flow nicely in the right hand. And then moving on, second full measure. Watch out for F sharp. Right, all of that is really straightforward. You're just kind of playing the notes as they come. There's no awkward skips or anything like that. It's all just basic stuff. Biggest thing there is just watch out for that F sharp, especially in that 8th note line, in the second measure of the second line. Then moving on, it's a repeat of what we already had. And then it changes a little bit right here, but nothing too challenging. Nice, such a great melody. All right. So moving into the second line of the second page of this song, so it's the 4th line of Simple Gifts, we have that half note D. Another spot where you might want to just practice that 8th note run a few times, getting the down, up picking, the alternate picking happening. Right, until that's just real smooth, real easy. Into the 5th line of the song. a slight variation. Again, another eighth note line that you might want to just circle and spend some time. It's really not too challenging. It just, making sure that we have that alternate picking happening very smoothly and very easily. And then in the last measure of the fifth line here, we've got the half note G. And that's that. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at part 2. And I'll go ahead and play it for you. We'll walk through it as well. It's really a lot of the same kind of concepts as before with part 1. But let's go ahead and give it a shot. So here is part 2 at 72 on the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right, so this one is really, again, it's all pretty simple, but it might be a little bit more awkward for you, mainly because you don't hear that melody happening, right? The entire thing is just kind of a harmony part. So it might feel a little awkward for you, some of the things like that, but really there's not that much different than what we saw in part 1. As we start at the beginning, again, we're starting on beat 4, 1, 2, 3. That whole first line, you're basically just doing open G and A. We've got a B, but just open strings and A. Until the very last beat, we have that F sharp. Now I will say that this line uses that F sharp quite a bit more, so just make sure you're aware of that and not afraid of your fourth finger for the F sharp. Going into the second line. Yeah, so that's kind of one of those situations where you could just leave your F sharp down. Although it gets a little crunchy because that's just a half set from F sharp to G. So I actually did lift my F sharp off before I played that G. But I didn't take it very far. Like, don't totally take your finger off. Just play the F sharp, slightly lift, slightly lift, play the G, play the F sharp again, and then D. All right, so again, second line, we've got and then it repeats what we had at the beginning. F sharp. And then we've got this little C arpeggio. Right? Just kind of outlining a C chord. Alright. And then moving into the fourth line, it's very similar to part 1, but we're just kind of down a third in most cases. But here we go. We've got half note B. Another situation where the entire line, we are just doing open strings and that note A. I guess we do have a B in there as well, but essentially we're just doing open strings and our second finger, all right? Nice. And then moving into the 5th line. And one more C arpeggio. Again, just outlining a C chord. There we go. All right, and that's all there is to it. Let's go ahead and hear what those sound like together at 72 on the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's go ahead and add the chords and hear what it all sounds like together at 72 on the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And there we go. There it is all together. You'll notice with the chords that I definitely just utilized those 2 strumming patterns that they gave us on exercises 89 and 90. I just kind of plugged them into the correct spot. The primary strumming pattern for the whole song is exercise 89. Quarter, 8th, 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 quarter, 8th, 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 8th. But I played the pattern from exercise 90 twice. Once at the end of the 3rd line and once at the end of the 6th line of the song. All right. So let's go ahead and hear what this all sounds like at a faster tempo. So we're going to bump it up to 104. We're going to try the melody, part 1, part 2, and then putting it all together. So here we go. Part 1 at 104. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's part 1. Let's go ahead and try part 2 at the same tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And lastly, let's go ahead and try the chords, and we'll add all of it together so you hear what part 1, part 2, and the chords all sound like together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And there we go. That's our lesson for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or otherwise, please leave those in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so, and we will see you at our next guitar lesson. Thanks.